Have you ever felt consumed by the loss of a relationship, be it a romantic relationship or even the loss of a loved one? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. Today's topic is enveloped. I was at the hospital today. I've been doing A Course in Miracles this year. A Course in Miracles by the Foundation for Inner Peace and Way of Mastery by the Shanti Christo Foundation are two texts that are channeled, Yeshua ben Joseph channeled Jesus, that I've studied for decades. And I was reading about miracle mindedness and there was this dawning awareness as I was connecting to my truth. And my truth is that love is all there is. All of the rest, and I say this to myself often, is false evidence appearing real or the illusion of separation. And the only thing that causes pain is not accepting what is. And Earth School is often quite painful because we're not accepting the truth of what is. The truth of what is that there's an eternality present, that your atoms, which are made out of subatomic particles, which are made out of 3 quarks, those quarks are entangled with other quarks in other humans that are the microcosmic aspect of their subatomic particles and their atoms, which are their cells, which become their physical personage. We are entangled with one another. We have a collective consciousness that is present. And there are a lot of things due to the quantum realm of understanding or the microcosmic reality that are awakening our understanding of our unification. If it's all atoms, and it is, and if all atoms are emptiness, and they are, if we but round up 100%, then it is the consciousness that is moving this empty dream forward. And how much of it in your life, Heather's done a considerable amount of it, okay. And I was reflecting on it as I was studying A Course in Miracles today. Today's lesson was my holiness envelops everything I see, which was a fun thing to practice at the hospital. You know, everyone entering the room, the whole hospital, you know, myself, just being all holy in a hospital, sounds like me. And while I'm doing this, I'm like coming to this awakening that every relationship that you've ever had, you are in forever. You know, people think they can run away from the eternality of the communion that you have atomically, subatomically with the all that is, and the unity that you have with consciousness, and the unity that you have with what has spiritually, globally been taught universally as eternality spiritually. And so there's no running away from a relationship. All relationships are eternal. You may not be in them right now in a way that seems palatable to your physical self, but you are in them. And there are some relationships that you may have lamented the loss of, and your heart goes out to that person and you feel bonded still. And this can be lots of different types of dynamics. Sometimes we're in fantasy of a relationship, and it may be something that you just are having a difficult time transcending. And that's understandable because in this realm, it seems like loss is a thing. It seems like you can be enveloped by the loss of a relationship that will never walk with the same legs that you were walking around in this life with. And that may be a reality of how you're going to walk moving forward. And there is a larger reality called my atoms are entangled with this person. The quarks have gluons, muons, all these different aspects, but one of the things that they have is spin up and spin down. And once you've had proximity to another person, whether you are 89 miles apart, is what science has shown, your atoms will still spin up or down based on this entanglement of the closeness of your interaction. And so on a scientific level, you are forever connected to that being. And it's true on a consciousness level. We're starting to understand that low-level frequency waves are emitted as a result of human consciousness, and that is a network, kind of like the mycelium and the roots of trees down in the earthness of just like our clay bodies, as some might say. So there's this component of many different strings that are making a blanket that are pointing to the eternality of your connection and communion with other beings. That one string of that eternality is your subatomic reality. That's the physicality level of your eternality, the entanglement, all of this quantum data that we've received. There's another facet aside from the physical that's present as well And that is the emotional component. If you weren't with someone that was a sociopath, you may both, for the rest of your life, have an emotional, psychic, or cognitive component that causes your consciousness to connect in ways that are still unified. You may still think of each other as you move through a lifetime. And all of that being said, there is certainly, through spiritual texts globally, depending on which one you study, you may find it echoed again and again and again, as your friend Heather Feather has, that spiritually you are eternal, you will always be unified, and you're playing a role right now. And why did you choose that role? And why did they choose that role? And is it possible to look at it without judgment, which is separating the self from the allness that is present that we've been discussing in this video? And can you be enveloped by the eternality of the relationship? And can we just have a little peace and ease and grace and understanding the communion, coming into union with the all that is, the at one-ment, the atonement of I am at one with the all that is. And you can't separate me from it physically. I mean, atoms cannot be created nor destroyed. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. All the atoms that are here, or what's going to be here, they're all connected and unified. They're all made of the same substance. It is a sea of one being, one could say. There is this collective consciousness that seems to be building the dream before our very eyes. And there's this spiritual connectivity that is echoed throughout the annals of time. As Mama Mackie used to say, a lie will always die and the truth will always be known. So Heather Feather knows the truth. When I find that, which gets echoed through the annals of time, can we take a moment of peace and a moment of grace at the construct and concept of loss that is the losing of a relationship, the losing of a job, the losing of your relationships to certain titles, certain situations, and the losing of a body? Heather often talks about having lost 60 to 70 people. I don't know. I can't keep track. I got a death box. I got a death folder. I have like records of the dead, so that when I want to connect and commune with and pray for all the people that are still living that feel lost with them or whatever that is, there is an awareness present in me, having stood in the veil at the gateway of death for a lifetime. They are with you, and so it's like I was in the hospital and just thinking about mom and dad were gone before I was 25 years old. And I'm a 50-year-old single woman in the hospital and just sitting here, there's no, like, the construct of family that is that really close-knit, immediate, my tribeness of mother, father, or mate, or children, or whatever that is, that singular nuclear unit that is so present through almost anything I can put my eyes on, TV, film, is still there. And so I was connecting to the miraculous nature of my spiritual eternality and recognizing I go into a lot of rooms with many, although Heather Feather is the only physical entity that showed up for the appointment. And I am well aware, because I have opened my third eye and have been looking for such a long time, that I do not walk alone into any space or any room, because everyone I've ever known that has crossed over in that long list is many beautiful souls. They are more available to me today outside of their flesh costume than they would be living in their space-time delusion way, is how the way Heather would say it. Are there any ways that you have been stewing and chewing on a bitter fruit that tastes like I can become separate from you, and that causes me pain in my heart because I feel loss? One of the things that A Course in Miracles was asking me to do today is to get honest, in that things are eternal and only love is real. And because only love is real, and because eternality is present, and that is the thing that is eternally present, let me not be false and allow fear to sit in my temple, in my body, in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit, because in order to do that, I have to agree with a falsehood that is really not what the evidence is pointing to. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube. Like and comment there. Heather Feather always loves your thoughts. May you be enveloped by the love that you are. I'm Wendy.